Hello?
Hey, he over there looking like, I heard you got the gas.
Oh.
Alright, cool. I'm about to go ahead and come in then.
She wants to come in, that's all.
It's a record-breaking heist, $30 million in cash. The brazen thieves apparently gained entry by climbing into the roof hatch at Garda World, a private security firm that's a rival to Brinks. News photographers found this giant hole in the side of the building, now boarded up. But it's not clear if that's how the robbers escaped. Could this be an inside job?
You know, the first thing I think any of us think when we hear a story like this is that had to be an inside job. Just think about the logistics of $30 million being able to move that much cash out undetected. That would take a lot of people working together extremely effectively.
$30 million? What would you do with $30 million? That's real bold to run into a place like that. I feel like it had to be some type of inside job.
This latest robbery is reminding people of the big rig robbery in 2022, when $100 million in jewelry was stolen while the Brinks truck was parked at a rest stop outside LA.
We had a lock on here. You had a lock on here, yep. And it's gone.
There have still been no arrests in that case.
30 million? I bet they out there nervous as hell. I wonder if they still at large. I couldn't see myself even attempting something like this. I'll probably pass out just from looking at all the money I'm carrying out.
You gotta look at these big ass mosquitoes here. Girl, what the fuck? Big ass mosquito.
Of a man. You can't tell me that is not a figure of a man.
This is a strange video captured on the day of the eclipse. People are calling it the Devil's Comet. Check this out right here.
All kinds of weird shit going on, huh?
Yeah, you saw that shit now. I tried to tell you.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. To the atmosphere. That might be the Devil's Comet. They got something called the Devil's Comet.
Look that way. See that on her?
So the strange thing to me, I'm gonna slow it down a little bit here, but if you look, you can see some type of flare. And there are a lot of people that are posting videos that they claim are even portals. But what do you think that this is? People say it's the Devil's Comet here in 2024, but it's absolutely insane. Comment below what you think.
That do look like some kind of comet. They did mention something about a devil comet or something, but I ain't heard nothing else about it after the eclipse.
The ocean isn't even black. It's jet black, which means absolute zero visibility. If your plane crashes in the ocean, you have a 3% survival rate. Rip currents can take you from the beach to a mile out in minutes. You most likely won't even notice. The ocean contains over 1 million viruses and bacteria. Anglerfish are actually about 12 feet in length and 40 feet in height. Ocean floor sinkholes are real and they are almost everywhere in the Atlantic. Orcas kill 5x more humans than great white sharks per year. The largest tsunami was a 1,800 feet wave in Lituya Bay. It was caused by a landslide. A 50 feet rogue was spotted in a shallow bay in Alaska in 1988.
Insane Origin Stories Part 1. In 1980, Star Wars was releasing a Christmas music album, but the producers wanted a better singer for the track R2-D2 We Wish You a Merry Christmas. So they asked the 17-year-old kid who was sweeping the floors at the studio, and he totally nailed it. His name was Jon Bon Jovi, and this marked the beginning of his professional music career. In 1950, an inventor was trying to make a waterproof sock to prevent trench foot in soldiers. Upon crafting a latex-coated sock and filling it with water to test for leaks, weeks. He found a rip and angrily threw the sock at his table. Pleased with the pop and splash, he decided to market water balloons to children. In 1825, successful painter Samuel Morse received a letter stating that his wife was terribly sick. The next day, he received a new letter stating that she had died. 2 days later, Morse returned home to see her body one last time, but she was already buried. Devastated by the slowness of communications, he invented the Morse code.
Absolutely love this open source AI device, and I hope we see a lot more mindful devices like this in the near future. Let's jump into why I'm so excited. This device is called Terra, and it comes from the design studio called Modem. Aim for this device was to help you break through modern day distractions and enjoy your surroundings. Terra is pretty simple in that it takes you on these adventures in your environments, on trails and roads and parks, and then gets you back home all without using a phone. What I love is the entire project, both hardware and software, is completely open source, so anyone can download the CAD files, 3D print everything, install the software, and then start exploring. Fascinating is the trails and routes are completely developed by AI. So to start, you enter a prompt and it develops a unique set of trails and routes for you to go on based on the time of day, your location, etc. You don't know where you're going when you first start. It's only when you get back home that you truly enjoy where you've been. Personally, I find walking and running one of the most creative exercises I can do. That's where I develop my best ideas. And funny enough, Stanford study in 2014 backed this up, where they found that people that walk developed more ideas, more creative ideas than those that were sitting still. Hope we see more mindful devices like this in the near future, especially with AI helping power some of the more complicated parts of the UX or UI. Love to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment and follow for more AI news, trends, and
Weekend is when you're weakened from the weekdays. A daze is someone who's unable to think or react properly, a state of stunned confusion. Words are spells, this is why we call it spelling. Did you know your subconscious mind takes everything you say as truth? When you use these words, your subconscious mind is picking it up as truth. When you say something is good and say it's sick, you're calling yourself sick. Or bless is be less. Words are encoded and they have secret meanings. Veganism saving me, God is good, listen is silent, and love is evil. You can't do this with the ancient languages. This is why they changed it. Because the Bible tells you death and life are in the power of the tongue. Because when you talk, you create torus fields, which is an electromagnetic wave. We actually live in cycles, which is a circle. The sun and the moon is the yin and the yang on the flat earth. The psych L is the L, which is the 12th letter, which is the 12 zodiacs. This is the cycle, the circle that we live in. Whatever you do, stop consuming seed oils.
How do fiber optics work? Fiber optic cables are the lifeblood of the world's data. Most of those cables are at the bottom of the ocean, where data is flowing 30% the speed of light. The cables are made up of thousands of strands of a kind of glass, about the size of a human hair, where information is carried in the form of light. Fiber optics can be made in different ways for different purposes, but very basically, light is moving through the strands by bouncing off and reflecting off the walls. Now, the speed of light changes based on the medium it's moving through. It's really fast through the vacuum of space, but slows down a smidge in things like water, which is why our data is traveling at 30%, not the fully 100% speed of light, because it's moving through this glass-like material. These signals are converted into the ones and zeros we use in just about everything. This is done by translating a high-frequency wave as a 1, which is a pulse of light, and the low frequency is a 0, which is no light. Basically, the lights are just blinking ones and zeros, like your cousin with the flashlight, but way more complicated. I am going to start making long-form content on YouTube this month for many reasons, so let me know if this is the sort of thing that you want me to dive into, because there is so much more to it.
I feel like fiber optics is about to be a thing of the past pretty soon. I think they'll be able to use what's coming on them for the rollout, but then they'll slowly get phased out.
This commenter asks, is it true that Abraham Lincoln was a Melungeon? Now, some of you are probably saying, what's a Melungeon? It's widely accepted that Melungeons are a mixed-race ethnic group, living largely but not exclusively in the Appalachian region. And in the Appalachian region, you'll encounter several family names associated with Melungeons, like Goins or Goins, depending on where you're from, Collins, Gibson, and also Mayle, just to name a few. Now, there's a bit of speculation as to the ancestry of Melungeons, with some people claiming it's Turkish or even Portuguese. But the consensus amongst historians is that most Melungeons are triracial, with European, African, and indigenous American ancestry. And because of that mixed race ancestry, Melungeons oftentimes have unique physical characteristics like darker skin and hair with light-colored blue or even green eyes. You may have also heard of the Melungeon bump, a bump on the back of the skull that some people believe to be unique to the Melungeon community. And there are some people who believe that Abraham Lincoln's mother, Nancy Hanks, may have been Melungeon. And that is certainly possible, but it is something that has never been confirmed. You know, there's been a great deal of speculation as to whether or not Abraham Lincoln was of mixed race ancestry ever since he was alive. There are a number of historical documents written in the 1860s suggesting that Abraham Lincoln may be part black. But it's important to remember that in the 1860s, being anti-slavery or fighting for the Union or living in the North didn't mean that someone was not racist. And we can assume that some of that speculation was a means in which people attempted to discredit Lincoln in both the South and the North. And I think because of that historic speculation, in addition to some things written about his physical appearance, like the thickness of his hair or his darker complexion, that there's still a lot of speculation today about whether or not Abraham Lincoln was indeed of mixed race ancestry. But nobody knows for sure, and we probably never will. All of his direct descendants are deceased, and we certainly can't just dig him up to do some kind of DNA analysis, especially considering his coffin is wrapped in a steel cage and buried under something like 2 tons of concrete. You know, it's really important to remember that a lot of people who talk about history on social media have an agenda, whether it's well-intentioned or otherwise. And that's why it's so important for us to question everything, even if it's something we want to be true. So if you have heard someone say definitively that Abraham Lincoln was definitely Melungeon or mixed race, or conversely they say Abraham Lincoln was absolutely not mixed race, he was white, don't take either at face value and insist they provide some kind of credible source to back up their assertion. Because as it stands, with regard to whether or not Abraham Lincoln was mixed race or not, I personally don't know of any credible source that can confirm or deny that one way or the other. If you know of one, I'd love to see it. Let me know in the comments. Sleep well, friends, and memento mori.
Let me find out Abraham had a little black in him. Hey, I heard he was stunting with them wood teeth. The way they used to rock back in the day, I wouldn't be surprised if that's a real human up there. And they just kind of pit over him like paper mache or something like that.
This is gonna go viral. I mean, I walk here every day and I know I don't see that. Trust me. What the It looks like...
I don't know what the fuck that is.
What? It almost like looks like it's like not real. And no one said anything today about it?
They ain't saying shit about it.
If that ain't spooky, I don't know what is. They look like a bunch of birds making a hive in the sky.
You're never going to look at a door the same way after this. Have you ever walked up to a door like an idiot and pushed when you should have pulled? Like, the sign is always right there, so it's always like, how could you have missed it, right? One of the conventions, one of the rules in good door design is that if a door is meant to be pulled, then you give it a handle. But if it's meant to be pushed, then you leave it flat. And we see this everywhere around us. All of your cabinets have handles because they are meant to be pulled open. And if you see a trash can like this, you know that the trash is meant to be pushed inside. If it's meant to be pulled, you give it a handle. And if it's meant to be pushed, you leave it flat. So the reason why you pulled when you should have pushed is likely to be because there was a handle there. and everywhere else in the real world, handle means pull. Push doors that have pull handles are such a classic example of bad design that they actually have a word for it. They have their own word. It's called a Norman door. Norman doors appear as if they are push/pull when they're actually the opposite, causing confusion and embarrassment to the user.
I couldn't imagine how many times I did this. Or the gas station with double doors and only one work, but they don't got no sign. And now you feel dumb because you feel like everybody seen you crash into the door.
This man really married a lady with two heads, y'all. I guess it's the 2-for-1 special. Y'all check this clip out.
To this day, it's still very enlightening to see twins that are conjoined. Brittany and Abby's mom felt that it would be too dangerous to have them separated. And Abby and Brittany have a very unique makeup of their anatomy. They do have a single body with separate heads and necks. They have 2 arms, 2 legs, and they share 1 bladder, 1 set of reproductive organs, and 1 large intestine. But they also have 4 lungs, 2 stomachs, and 1 diaphragm. It can all be kind of confusing of how they operate, but Brittany operates one side of the body and Abby operates the other side of the body. So although these ladies are their own individual person, they do share one man who they now call husband. The 33-year-old duo said "I do" to their partner, who has yet to be named publicly. The twins are both still elementary school teachers that they did announce back in 2012, and they are living life to the fullest with their husband.
I really do think they happy. And I really do think he cared for them. Can you imagine the foreplay is going on? Hold on, don't even blink. If you did, my bad.
Since only 2 people are legally able to marry, they are only married spiritual right now. I'm so happy to actually see the twins thrive.
Oh my God, what is that? Oh my God!
See, she tripping. As soon as it would have rose up like that, I would have been up out of there. But in the first place, that's too wild to be even trying to be in there filming.
What is that? I'm scared!
I don't know. I'm calling CGI on that. The way it's moving is too synchronized. But let me know in the comments how y'all feel about that.
News articles about a huge drug bust that happened in a secret room in this house. We have never found the secret room, nor have attempted to look for the secret room, but today was the day we found it. This is.
So you telling me you've been standing there for 10 years and heard about a drug bust in a secret room and you never been in that secret room? That would have been one of the first places I checked as soon as I moved in. So I'm calling Cap already.
What happened?
Yeah, you come over to this room. Yeah, sure.
I can't see anything. Oh my God, there is a room in there. Oh my gosh. He just fell.
Stuff in here.
There's a bunch of stuff in here.
Yeah.
Let me try to get some. It's just like a whole room back here. And there's arcade machines. There's arcade machines, 3 of them. There's a closet. I don't know. Yeah, and this Xbox, there's like newer stuff in here. There's so much stuff. There's like tools too. What is that?
Hey, if you changing your oil and it look like chocolate milk, throw the whole vehicle away.
What?
I don't know, that zoom in kind of exposed the net up there. Unless we looking at a video of a camera. I don't know.
Morbid Facts, Part 231. Mr. T stopped wearing his iconic gold jewelry in 2005 after helping with the cleanup of Hurricane Katrina. He said, "I thought it would be insensitive and disrespectful to the people who lost everything, so I stopped wearing my gold." None of the people who were filmed or photographed falling from the Twin Towers on 9/11 have ever been officially identified. The collapse of the towers before the remains were retrieved made it impossible to identify them through DNA testing. In 1988, U.S. Marine Jason Rother was accidentally abandoned in the Mojave Desert and ended up dying from dehydration. The search for him only started when his weapon wasn't returned for over 40 hours since he went missing. Tracing the distance, it was found that Rother had hiked over 17 miles in 100-degree temperatures and was only 2 miles away from base when he collapsed. His death is now commonly used as an important lesson taught to members of the military about the importance of accountability.
This is a video of a demonic spirit manifesting during the arrest.
What's your name, boss?
Listen.
Yeah, my name's Jared. What's your name? Marty. Marty? What's your last name? Mike. Oh, yeah.
Y'all seen this?
Okay.
Battery up. Yep. Look at his eyes.
What's your date of birth, bud? Mighty. You seem mighty. I see that. What's your date of birth?
Gonna have to ask him when he comes.
Okay. Well, I want to talk to you.
Y'all heard this?
I'm mighty.
I get that, but I'm not asking that right now. I'm asking you when were you born?
Don't worry about that.
I do. I am worried.
Did you see this?
Can you help me out here?
Call him. He will come.
I don't know who to call.
You have
Okay.
ask the officer.
I don't know that guy. I want to talk to you, man.
I am mighty.
This is real life.
Talking to me.
Okay. Will you help me out here? Will you tell me what your date of birth is?
You don't have birthday.
You don't have birth dates? Okay. Okay. Where do you stay at? Where do you live?
People take the spiritual warfare stuff as a joke. When there's people real life out here getting body snatched from low vibration.
Only demon I see is drugs. Kids don't do drugs.
I'm definitely convinced that the real aliens are in the ocean.
But it's got some weird innards.
It does look like.
Oh my god. Oh, but it has the geometric mesh.
It does have that mesh, yeah.
Oh.
The bottom, right?
Look at that.
Whoa. But on the real though, do you think something like that get preyed on down there? If so, what animal you think eats that? It seems like if something eat that, the whole body is just melt off into dust or something. But I don't know. That's just my thoughts.
Spooky. Spooky.
Oh.
We're gonna lift the mask up.
What's that storage
Just like an extraterrestrial.
There's a cryanoid. Oh gosh. It's like dancing.
Oh, it's got an isopod. It has isopod inside.
Oh cool, yeah. Wow. It's gotta be related to Zutaria. Wow.
Yeah, it must be. Because they have a resident isopod, I believe.
Yeah.
Would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for us meddling scientists.
I know, that's exactly what it looked like.
Isopod driving a sheep.
Wow.
Oh gosh. This might be a 5.
Incredible. Yeah, this is cool.
Wow.
Okay, I can tag it again.
It's a 5. Wow.
Yeah,
We got like 100 photos.
What are the vein looking things? The contour lines.
I'ma definitely say it again. I definitely believe that extraterrestrials are in the ocean on some real shit, cause that's some different shit. I already think jellyfishes are hella weird, but this right here is some next level, new update type shit, new update to the ocean type shit. That's some weird ass shit. Imagine all the other stuff that we don't see. I definitely believe extraterrestrials are in the ocean, and they don't gotta be scary, but that's definitely one of them, because that's some extra ass shit. Let me know what y'all think about this in the comments.
Y'all can see that, right? What the hell is that, y'all? It looks like a rainbow, but it is like bright orange, right? This right here is in Chicago, Illinois. Remember, they just turned on mini CERN, y'all. Check this out.
Y'all gonna tell me something ain't going on with the sky in Illinois? You don't shut the fuck up. 6 times in the morning. Shut up.
I guess that is what. Look at that. That's supposed to be the sun, y'all? Is that supposed to be the sun? Are you excited?
Tell me. Shut the fuck up. There's my car. What is this? What is this?
That's a bro. Why does it look like a planet, y'all?
Look, there's another one right here. There's a foreman right here, right in front of it.
It's a double rainbow, bro. Bro.
There's 2 rainbows.
Ain't no way, bro. That's exactly what was in front of my house, man. The energy felt intense. When I tell you the energy felt intense, look how red it is over there, y'all. And the sun was extremely red. Look at that. This is today in Chicago. Look at that. Look at the sun, bro. Look how it looks. It looks like it's on fire.
Tongue knows. Your tongue knows exactly what it would feel like to lick this oyster, even though you've never licked this oyster before. What other items are there? Let's see. This alligator or crocodile, whatever it is. You've never licked an alligator or a crocodile's tail before, but you know exactly what it would feel like if you were to do so. Can we get a picture of a seal? Not this seal. Thank you. This is shiny and smooth. Thinking about licking it, you know exactly that it would feel shiny and smooth. It would be lustrous on the tongue. Ooh, your phone. Imagine licking your phone. Imagine dragging your tongue across your phone screen right now. It's so smooth. And you'd also be able to
I don't know. She kind of sound like she a little too into this.
to differentiate the difference between the charge port, the buttons, the power button. Think about licking them. You know exactly what it would feel like, crisp edges and all. The charge port seems a little porty, like the scrape of the tongue, you know, as you stick your, okay. I have dragged my knees across the cement before, but never my tongue. I still know exactly what it would feel like if I were to think about dragging my tongue across it though, and I also taste a bit of dust and earth. Minerally. This tree bark, it's scrapey. We all know it's scrapey. A good handful of us may have licked a tree before. I personally don't think I have, but it's so familiar of a feeling when I think about it that maybe I have. I don't know though. What I can say is this area right here, we probably all agree is the most scrapiest. It's giving splinters. Spiders may be coming out. It's also dusty. It tastes earthy, and it's pretty uncomfortable. Carpet. A good handful of us, I know for sure, have licked the carpet at some point or another. That's no issue for those who have never licked the carpet, as we all know exactly what it would feel like if you were to think about licking it. It's just very, very familiar. A wall full of barnacles. I don't think many of us have ever licked a wall full of barnacles, but we all know exactly what it would feel like. Also the taste. Are you getting like kind of salty ocean water flavor here? A little fishy? Yeah, me too. Ooh, the picture of the lemon. This one always gets me because not only do we all know exactly what it would feel like to lick this juicy lemon, but it also comes with the feeling. It's really waking up the sensory stuff that's going on in here. Because I get this feeling in the back of my jaw, like this, a little sour, you know, like, you know, it makes your eyes water, it makes your mouth water. This is fun. Very interesting. What other items do you know exactly what they would feel like if you were to think about licking them, even though you've never licked them before?
It's something about this whole segment that made me feel a little strange inside. Like, who sit there like, I wonder what underneath that table tastes like. I want to lick it.
If there was ever a glitch in the Matrix, I swear, it's this. Have you ever noticed that sometimes you'll get a cut, but it doesn't seem to start hurting until you noticed it? It's almost as if your perception of the wound is what caused the pain. That couldn't be right, could it? Could it? Apparently it could, ladies and gentlemen. I was just reading this article that says that pain really is just all in our heads. So much so that there are people out there who have never felt pain. They can feel touch. It's not...
Hey, line 10 people up like they did on Baby Boy and knock them out. and see which ones feel pain before, after, or not at all?
Because their nerves don't work, it's because the connection of those nerves to the brain is broken. People with this condition can literally do things like place their hands in boiling water. They can undergo operations without anesthetics. They won't feel pain. There are two main theories why the brain might actively decide to delay the pain for a cut until the moment that we notice it. The leading theory is in regards to the power of distraction. If we are intensely focused on something, the brain might literally choose to delay the sensation of pain until we choose to take a break. But it's this second theory that's really blowing my mind. Apparently, our minds can cause pain without a physical source. There's some pain that's 100% psychological. This power of belief is why some people can walk on hot coals while others can't. See, modern physics actually tells us that coals are poor conductors of heat. So as long as your feet don't stay in one position on the coals for too long, in theory, everyone should be able to walk on coals. And the reason why some people can't is literally just because they don't believe that they can. If you believe that walking on coals should hurt, your brain might literally create the sensation of pain that you're expecting.
Explain like I'm 5, quantum field theory. So in the normal world, if you and your friend are kicking around a football, if you kick the football to your friend and you know where your friend is and you know where you are, you can basically figure out the path that the football took between you and your friend. But the same is not true if you kicked an electron to your friend. In the quantum realm, the electron takes every path. So let's make it a little bit more complicated. Now imagine that you and your friend are standing across from each other. You both throw electrons at the other person and you catch an electron a few moments later. But a few moments later, when you receive an electron, you don't even know whose electron it was because all electrons look the same. It could have been his that got to you, or it could have been yours that bounced off of his and came back. So there's a few possible outcomes, and I'm going to draw them in a graph for you. Let's say that I'm person A, my friend is person B. I throw an electron to my friend, they throw an electron to me at the exact same time. That would look something like this if I were going to plot it in a space-time diagram. The electrons don't actually have to bounce off or cross each other, this is just what it looks like on the diagram. But alternatively, those electrons could bounce off each other and then go back where they came from, so I could end up catching the electron that I threw. That would look like something like this on a diagram. Or maybe they bounce off each other, come back together, bounce off each other again, and then go. That would look something like this. Clearly, any number of bounces could happen because those electrons can be anywhere between the two of us.
Clearly, he forgot he was explaining this to a 5-year-old.
So if we want to figure out the probability that when I throw my electron and he throws his electron, that something will happen, we need to somehow account for all of these possibilities. And this is exactly what Feynman diagrams do. Basically, the diagrams I showed you were Feynman diagrams. They account for the different types of interactions that can happen when two particles, say, collide. And what Richard Feynman came up with is that you can draw these diagrams and then associate a number, or rather a function, to each of these diagrams that lets you compute the probability that that diagram happens. And if you want to determine the probability that they collide at all, well, you just add up the functions from all of these diagrams. There's just one problem though. There's an infinite number of possible diagrams. So all we can do is add up a certain finite number of diagrams and get an approximation for the total probability. However, we're lucky because it turns out that more and more interactions are more and more unlikely. It's rarer, say, for 4 bounces to happen than for 3 bounces to happen. And so it turns out that if we ignore, say, 10 bounces or more, we're not really ignoring much of the probability. So all we need to do if we want a good approximation is just add up a few of these diagrams and we'll get a pretty good number. And this is how physicists at places like CERN and Fermilab are able to calculate these enormously complicated collisions between protons and antiprotons in particle accelerators. And that's how quantum field theory works, at least for a 5-year-old.
This is light work.